Our first group hangout as a couple felt like a test we didn't study for. The living room was full of pizza boxes and polite small talk that kept tripping over itself. Someone asked where we were really from, then laughed like they didn't mean it. If you're here for building friendships in multicultural relationships, you know that a simple game night can turn into a maze of feelings. On the walk home, summer evening warmth sat heavy on our shoulders. Street lights blinked awake, and the crosswalk beeped like a metronome for our steps. You squeezed my hand twice, the way you do when you're thinking. We wondered out loud if we'd picked the right people to call friends. We talk about moments like this on Whispered Hearts. English, because love lives longer when the circle around it is kind. Friends shape how easy the week feels. They help you laugh before the couch gets cold. Good ones keep the room safe for both of you at the same time. But there's something even quieter underneath the party invitation and the RSVP. Community tells your nervous system what's normal. If the room knows how to pronounce your name and ask better questions, your shoulders drop. If the room doesn't, you spend the night translating. Translation is love's labor, but it shouldn't be love's burden. Therapists report that couples feel steadier when their social fabric has a few people who get it. Research shows that small, reliable connections lower stress. We didn't need a stadium. We needed a picnic table that felt like ours. Have you noticed which 2 or 3 faces make your house feel bigger and your worries feel smaller? We started by naming what friendship means in both our worlds. In your family, friends are neighbors with keys and a standing invitation. In mine, friendship grows through quiet one-on-ones and slow trust. Neither is better, but they ask for different calendars and different kinds of effort. Here's the curiosity that changed how we looked for people. What if friendship is not a hunt for perfect matches, but a craft of shaping spaces where both cultures breathe? That question turned pressure into play. It also helped us see the keepers faster. Who do you feel more like yourself around? Not less. We needed a first step that didn't feel like auditioning, so we invited 2 friends each to a Saturday morning coffee and a short walk along the river. The light was soft, the air smelled like fresh bagels, and the conversation had time to turn a corner. We noticed who asked good questions and who made room for both stories. But there's something even more important than the first hang. Follow-through. We sent a photo afterward with 2 lines of gratitude. Thanks for asking about our families. Loved how you brought both of us in. Small signals teach people how to love you. Most want to learn. Sometimes bias arrived, wearing a sweater and a smile. A well-meaning friend made a joke about accents. I saw you flinch and watched the room ignore it. That night, our apartment felt colder than the air outside. We used our repair steps because our closeness comes first. Safety. Same team. Empathy. You felt exposed. I felt helpless. Action. Next time, I'll name it in the room, then check on you right away. Repair stitches the place where the comment tried to tear. Have you noticed the sentence your partner needs to hear after moments like that? Keep it short and clear. I saw it. I've got you. We'll handle this together. Sometimes 5 words are more healing than a 5-minute speech. We also created a short social script for ourselves. If someone asks something clumsy, we answer with generosity once. If they press, we pivot or set a boundary. We love sharing, but that question's not for tonight. Then we change the subject to music, food, or a shared game. Boundaries make future dinners possible, but there's something even quieter that grows friendship roots. shared doing, not just shared talking. We cooked together on a rainy spring Saturday while the windows fogged. Someone brought spices from a childhood kitchen. Someone else told a story about a grandmother's soup. By the time the pot simmered, we weren't strangers. We were a table. We tried a 2-song rule for car rides with new friends. 1 song from your memories, 1 from mine. Cousins learned lyrics to tracks they'd never heard before. The back seat turned into a tiny language lab where nobody felt tested. A good playlist can teach more than a lecture. Finding inclusive friends didn't mean sorting by passports or last names. It meant watching for curiosity, kindness, and flexibility. We were drawn to people who introduced us with context and care. These are my friends. They're teaching me new holidays, and I'm learning to make their favorite noodles. The right friends make you feel like a story, not a statistic. Have you noticed what kind of invitation makes your chest relax? Low pressure, clear plan, end time in mind. We learned to send those ourselves. 6 to 8, potluck, 1 story about a family dish. Please label ingredients. Clear is kind. Clear is also inclusive for dietary needs and traditions. But there's something even sweeter than a great invite. A hosted space that looks like both of you. We mixed decor on purpose. Woven table runner from your childhood home. Small wildflowers in jars like mine. A bowl of fruit that shows up in both our holidays. The room spoke 2 languages before we opened our mouths. Not every group will be safe. That's truth, not failure. We let exits be easy and graceful. We're calling it a night. Early morning tomorrow. We didn't explain more than we wanted to. Protecting your peace is allowed. It's also contagious. Other people learn it from you. We made a list of places where cross-cultural friendship already blooms. Community gardens. Pick-up soccer at the park with kids and aunties cheering. Library events with story time in 2 languages. Food festivals where the line is long and the conversation is longer. We showed up, not as guests, but as neighbors. But there's something even quieter that keeps people returning. Hospitality that listens. We asked friends what made them feel welcome. Quiet corners for shy folks. Pronouns practiced. Names written on place cards so shy hands don't have to correct 3 times. When friends feel seen, they stay. We created a monthly open table with a simple rule. Bring a dish from your world or one you love learning. We kept the menu flexible and the vibe low. The porch light stayed on. Autumn leaves piled along the curb, and someone's laugh floated across the yard like a song. That laugh glued the night together. Therapists report that small rituals build social safety. Research shows people are more open when they know what happens next. We kept a house ritual. Candle lit when the first guest arrives. Short toast that thanks people for trusting us with their time. Group photo by the door, 1 silly and 1 calm. Ritual turns a gathering into a memory. Have you noticed which ritual could be yours? A first sip toast, a welcome playlist, a goodbye snack for the road. Pick 1 small thing and repeat it until it becomes a thread your friends can recognize in the dark. But there's something even more tender. The friend you already have who just needs a map. We taught a couple close to us how to help when bias shows up. They learned to interrupt gently and shift attention back to us. The next time someone asked where we were really from, our friend smiled and said, "From here tonight." Now, who wants the last slice? It felt like oxygen. We also learned to advocate for each other's comfort zones at group events. You thrive in groups when we arrive early. I thrive when we arrive 20 minutes in. We split the difference and send a text from the car. Ready? Ready. Small logistics prevent big anxiety. Work friendships took different care. Happy hours, office jokes, team dinners after conferences. We chose colleagues who knew how to read a room and didn't turn our cultures into office trivia. You introduced me at team picnics with the warmth you use at home. I asked for pronouncing guides for names before I showed up, so nobody had to carry that weight alone. But there's something even quieter that keeps social life kind. Debriefs. On the walk home, we asked 2 questions. Where did you feel seen? Where did something pinch? We didn't turn the night into a courtroom. We turned it into a classroom. Then we hugged, made a tiny plan, and watched a silly show to wash the room out of our hair. Invite fatigue is real, so we protected our bandwidth. 2 events a month is plenty. We chose depth over volume, and we said no with gratitude. Thank you for thinking of us. Not this time, but please invite us again. People who respect your no will respect your yes. We also found value in friendships across age. Elders who taught us to greet with both hands. Younger folks who showed us new slang and new recipes from creators we'd never heard of. Multi-generational rooms are generous. They hold more chairs and more stories. The advice is better too. Have you noticed how good friendship feels in your body? Loosened jaw, slower breath, humor that arrives without effort. Use that body check as your guide more than any checklist. Your body knows where it's safe to bloom, but there's something even more beautiful than feeling safe, helping others feel it. We turned our home into a little embassy for kindness. On crisp winter nights, we served soup and let the room steam the windows. On spring afternoons, we brought blankets to the park and watched kites skate across the sky. People started asking when the next invitation would come. We learned to celebrate cultural holidays like open-source projects. Your festival needed a playlist, sweets, and a story about why that lantern matters. Mine needed a small dish my grandmother loved, a short poem, and a quiet moment after. Our friends brought questions and respect. Holiday walls turned into windows. Conflict showed up once between us on the way to a house party. You wanted us to greet everyone in your language before switching. I was nervous and struggled with pronunciations. The car felt small. We paused and used our repair. Safety, same team. Empathy, you want to honor your people. I'm afraid of messing up. Action, let's practice 3 greetings, and you'll lead the first 5 minutes. We arrived like a team and left with the party's best leftovers. Therapists report that couples stay close when they share the mental load of social life. We split roles using our strengths. You handled invitations, and I handled food. You kept track of birthdays. I kept a note with everyone's favorite tea. Tiny systems make big warmth possible. We also made space for friendships that belong to each of us alone. Your book club meets on Tuesdays, and you come home glowing. My pickup basketball crew meets early on Saturdays, while the gym still smells like cleaner and possibility. When we swap stories, we're adding circles that also nourish our center. When we couldn't find an event that fit, we built one. The passport potluck was the easiest win we've ever hosted. Each dish came with a sticky note that said where the recipe learned to walk and why it matters. The labels made shy people brave. Everyone left with 3 new dishes in their phones and 7 new stories in their pockets. But there's something even quieter than a great event. Friendship that continues on ordinary Tuesdays. A check-in text when someone's visa paperwork lingers. A quick coffee when a parent is sick far away. A ride to the airport at dawn with bad playlists and good muffins. Community grows in the middle, not just at the edges. We learned to hold boundaries kindly when people wanted more from us than we could offer. We love you. We also keep Fridays for rest. We can help plan, but we can't host this time. Boundaries protect the capacity to be generous later. Without them, warmth burns out. We kept a small friendship ledger that wasn't about keeping score. It was about noticing reciprocity. Who shows up for others? Who follows through? Who makes amends? Those are your builders. Those are the people who will hold your culture with care and let it teach theirs without turning it into a spectacle. And when a friendship disappointed us, we didn't write the whole story in red ink. We said what hurt, listened once, and watched what they did next. Action is the apology. If it came, trust healed. If it didn't, we released the tie with kindness and moved toward the people who had already proved themselves safe. What's your favorite activity to do with friends as a couple? Drop it in the comments. Your movie night idea, park picnic plan, or easy recipe could become someone's first good memory in a new city. Community begins with one invitation and one yes. If your circle has felt thin lately, you're not wrong. You're in a tender chapter. Whispered Hearts. English is here to remind you that you don't need hundreds of friends. You need a few steady ones, plus each other, and the courage to keep trying. You belong in rooms that celebrate you without asking you to cut yourself in half. Tonight, make one small move. Send a text to the kindest person you know. Coffee on Saturday. Walk after work. Keep it easy and real. Tomorrow, pick one community space and show up for an hour. Watch how your body reacts, then decide if you'll return. This weekend, try hosting something with soft edges. 10 to noon. Tea, fruit, and a plate of something warm. Ask people to bring a story about a dish, a song, or a small object that holds meaning. Write names on cards so everyone can breathe. And when the evening ends and you stack plates by the sink, look around your living room. Maybe there are shoes by the door from 4 different countries. Maybe there's a toddler asleep on a parent's shoulder while 2 aunties whisper. Maybe the dog has learned 3 new languages for sit. That's not an accident. That's love learning how to live with help. That is the quiet, patient work of building friendships in multicultural relationships. And you are already doing it beautifully.